My 29 male girlfriend, 29 female, has hooked up with many guys in her immediate friend group. Basically, title. My girlfriend of about 5 months has a core group of about 15–20 people that all hang out together. In this group, she has had sex with 5 of the guys all within the last 2 years. All were multiple-time occurrences. I'm having a hard time dealing with it since she is constantly around them, i.e. they are all on a volleyball team that plays every week, are all in group text chats together for coordinating events, and are at every party or larger gathering together. Likewise, I am constantly around them when attending these functions. For example, her friend group is renting 2 boats next month on the lake and 4 of the 15 people on the boats will be friends she slept with. I am also going. I am dreading going on this boat, but these people are very ingrained in her friend group, so I can't just not be around them. We've talked about it and she says she doesn't see them in this sexual way anymore. I do tend to believe her. The issue is that I constantly think about the fact she used to be intimate with these people when they are around. Honestly, it is giving me a ton of anxiety. I'm thinking about it even when I'm not around them or she is not around them, and it's been really hard for me. In my head I am thinking about the fact that they have been naked together, sexually intimate, etc. We both have pretty sexually active pasts. That doesn't bother me. I don't know how many men she's slept with. I've met non-friend ex-partners of hers by happenstance bumping into them in the city where she just says hi, how are you, and that's it, and it doesn't bother me at all. The proximity and the fact they are in her immediate friend group is what is difficult. Part of me wants to end the relationship because I don't want to be in close proximity of my GFS ex-sex partners all the time. But at the same time I am growing to love her and everything else has been amazing. I don't want to feel like this anymore, and I'm hopeful that maybe I don't have to with time, but I really don't know. Is this strange to you? Would you be uncomfortable as well? Should I stay with her and tough it out or split up now to spare the pain? Any ideas on what we can do to get over the anxiety and discomfort? That would be a nope from me. I won't date someone who has exes in her social circles. A lot of people are fine with it, but it's just not for me. I'd be out. People are allowed to have a preference. They are allowed to be uncomfortable with things. And you are allowed to break up over in such a case. There is no need to feel guilty. Before you fall in love further, leave. It's 5 months and you don't like her choice of friends or her sexual history. Break up. Honestly mate, I'd move on. It's only been 5 months and you're a wreck already. For your own peace of mind, move on before it get too hard too. We live in a time where the past is the past, and feelings are completely tossed in the garbage because of it. The truth is though, you have every right to your feelings. This is very uncomfortable and weird, and I honestly wouldn't feel comfortable hanging out with my boyfriend's friend group, especially if there were 5 female friends he had slept with. It's a weird situation, but ultimately it's up to you here. Personally, I see it as a red flag. However, it's not my relationship or future with this person, it's yours. Can you discuss this with her and tell her how uncomfortable you're feeling? In this situation, I definitely look at the future. I don't think that how you're feeling now will get any better anytime soon. Am I being too sensitive after my boyfriend, M26, said to me, F25, just make sure you don't get fat. So I've struggled with bulimia for the last 10 years. My boyfriend is aware of that, but I don't know to what extent he really understands what this issue really is. Recently, I've been gymming and eating lots of protein. Yesterday, I complained that I was extremely full after eating chicken, tuna and tofu for dinner. He made a comment about not going overboard and eating too much. I told him I was actually just at my goal of 1500 maintenance calories. Today, I had a bad day. I usually only have 2 meals, today I had 3 and some snacks. I still ate my protein, but I also indulged in some chocolates and a bag of chips, which I have been actively trying to stop. He knows this. I've expressed how I am trying to cut down on sugar. I described all this to him, said I felt very full and that I ate a lot today, and he was like, it's okay, just make sure you don't get fat. I replied with, that's a little insensitive to say to me. And he kinda brushed it off with I don't understand how that's insensitive. I told him how he had said the same thing when we first started dating around a year ago. I used to be overweight as a teen and he found some old pics and basically said, don't get fat. I'm like a bit chubby now and I want to be skinnier and I'm terribly afraid of getting fat again, so this comment sent me on a whole bulimia trip for a few weeks after. But later he clarified and said that as long as I am healthy and exercising he doesn't care how I look. Which made me feel a lot more comfortable. But today he kinda went back on all of that. I asked him if it would be a problem for him if I was fat, and he said if it was after we were married, no, but right now it would be. Here he also said he meant obese instead of fat. But is he really warning me about getting obese after I have 2 days of eating till I'm full? I've literally suffered from uncontrollable bouts of binge eating where I've eaten basically 3 times this amount, so even these bad days are not as bad in comparison. Am I being too sensitive here? Should I have just brushed it off? To me it feels like every time I express that I'm full it comes with a warning that I shouldn't be overdoing it. Is this the best choice of a partner for you? Let's put it out for what it is. You have an eating disorder. He is worried about, or feels entitled enough to open his big fat mouth about your body. He knows you had bulimia. He knows you had an ED. It is more important to him that you do not get fat than it is for him to refrain from triggering you. The facts are there for you to see. The issue is not that you're too sensitive, it's that he's insensitive. This is not a safe person for you to be in a relationship with. He's going to prevent you from living a happy life by keeping you entrenched in disordered thinking. I can clearly hear you struggling with your food anxiety just in your post. I had a bad day. I usually only have 2 meals. Today I had 3 and some snacks. I indulged in some chocolates and a bag of chips which I've been actively trying to stop. I am trying to cut down on sugar. Sweetie, you are so close to the edge right now. I hear that control and self-talk creeping in. He is the wrong partner for you. It sounds like he doesn't understand eating disorders. It's like telling a depressed person to quit crying, ADHD person to just focus, or an anxious person to stop worrying. I'd say if you want this relationship to grow, he needs to be more educated. Run. Run away now. This person is not interested in how you feel, he is only interested in himself. How can I trust my partner, 33F, when she was unfaithful to me, 37M, in a situationship? I've, 37M, been seeing this girl, 33F, for the last 7 months. Hands down the most stunning one I've ever dated, and we get along very well. I'm currently going through a divorce, something she's been aware of from the start. Despite living in different countries, we managed to hit it off and started dating. Initially, I wasn't looking for anything serious. She seemed pretty intense and I had a hunch she was keeping some things under wraps. We did share a few trips together, visiting each other's countries. She often nudged me towards making our relationship official. But with my divorce still in process, hard decisions and paperwork have been taking me over 9 months. I wanted some breathing space to heal first. Basically, we were having a situationship. Sure, we had our share of arguments, but she always reassured me that she was in love with me. She claimed she couldn't even think about anyone else because I was always on her mind. She also insisted that she hadn't been with anyone else since we met. I was skeptical about these claims, so I kept probing to see if she was being truthful or just spinning tales. During one of my visits to her country, I already knew that I was in love for her and asked her to be my girlfriend. But then, something happened that made me rethink everything. My phone broke and she lent me her old one. Due to a glitch in WhatsApp, when I set up my account, I could see her chats with other people. To my shock, she was seeing 4 other guys, chatting with them just like she did with me. It was pretty clear she was sleeping with some of them. I confronted her about it. I couldn't really blame her since we weren't officially together. But what really stung was the fact that she had lied to me about being the only one in her life, and the excuses she made to cover up her dates with the other guys whilst we were chatting, like she was with a friend, a relative, went to sleep early, she didn't go out today. Now, I'm stuck in a tough spot. I'm head over heels for her, but I'm also wrestling with trust issues. I'm not sure if I can trust her again. What can I do in this situation? If you pick your next partner based on their beauty, you'll probably end up with another divorce. Wait, so you were still married, dating her, she asked for more. You said no and now you're mad she lied about being with other people even though you aren't dating? Hi pot, meet kettle. What should you do? You're literally still going through a divorce and she lives in another country lol. How about you just date for a while before declaring your love for a young woman in another country? If you refuse to commit, she's not wrong for seeing other people. I mean, how did she know if you would ever commit or if she was just going to have to find someone else who would? With that said, outright lying to you about it and telling you she was only with you is a problem. She doesn't sound trustworthy if she was telling you one thing but doing another. You don't really want to try and build a long-term relationship with someone who you know says one thing to you and then acts completely different. With someone who not just lies to you but then has to make up other stories to cover up the lie. Someone who has no problem continually deceiving you. Also, she is in love with several guys. Friend, 25M. Didn't invite me, 26F, to the wedding after party. Our friend didn't invite me to the wedding after party. Am I right to be offended? Recently I went to my friend's wedding. We were at the reception for a while with no set end time, that I knew of. After a certain time, there was still some music and dancing, but slowly, people were starting to file out. I stayed for a while, but when it looked like the festivities were pretty much over, I found the groom, my friend, and told him that I was gonna head out. Thank you for inviting me, congratulations, etc. His response: okay. Literally just okay. No, bye, or anything. The next morning, I checked Instagram and saw that he posted a story. It said, wedding after party, and included a bunch of our friends. They were at a restaurant or something. I was immediately hurt. This hurt me for a few reasons. 1. He didn't tell me that there was going to be a party. He had the opportunity to tell me before I left, because then I would not have left. 2. We have been friends for years, but someone that he has only known for 1 year was at the party. 3. Some people at our table at the reception asked about where the after party was going to be, and he said, in the hotel room with my wife, making a joke about consummating the marriage but also implying that there would not be an after party. I have not confronted him about this because I don't want to make his milestone about me. I don't want to confront any of our friends who were at the party for the same reason. Am I right to be offended? Why do you think he did what he did? Also, I want to add that I'm friends with the bride as well. Even was part of the bachelorette trip. TL, Dr. Friend of several years didn't invite me to the wedding after party and even implied that there wouldn't even be one. Edit. Based on some responses, the just let it go ones. I think that I should mention that I tend to feel emotions very deeply and intensely. I'm sorry for being a human with emotional depth. While what I've seen most after parties are not set up by the bride or groom, in my case it was my wife's family, we declined to go. Based on his earlier comment, this definitely sounds like the case. What probably happened was that someone suggested it after you left and everyone just kind of went with it. I understand why you're hurt about it, but it probably wasn't a deliberate slight. How do you know the after party wasn't decided on until after you left? Just because they made a joke about the hotel room doesn't mean after you left those people that went decided to keep the party going elsewhere. You're a mutual friend. They could have both just assumed you knew. There's a lot to keep track of in wedding planning. You said you were leaving. If he did believe you already knew about the party, he would have also assumed you just decided to pass on it for whatever reason. He had more important things to worry about than your whereabouts that evening. My first thought was that it probably happened spontaneously. Are you sure it was planned? Just because your emotions are intense doesn't mean you can't get over it. You should learn methods of this, by 1 realizing that you aren't the main character in this world, and especially in other people's worlds. Intensity of emotions does not give you an excuse to not learn how to handle your emotions. They will control your whole life and torment you if you can never learn to control your emotions and thoughts.